Good evening, families. Welcome. My name is Gladys Galvan Carrion. I'm the Senior Manager for Parent Academy. We are glad you have the time to join us today for a great session about ParentSquare. This, great tool to communicate parents and school. For tonight's presentation, we have a great presenter, Brandy Dean, is with us. But before we start, I would like to ask to please first. Use the feature that we have available, and give me a thumb up if you can hear us. Perfect. I see all those thumbs up. Also, I would like to remind you if you have questions, you can use the chat to drop all those questions. We'll try to capture and try to, pass those questions to Brandon during the presentation. Also, if you can share with us from what school you are joining us today. We want to see those school here who is here with us. Hamlin Elementary, University High Ovation, the new school this year. North Lake Park at Polk Elementary. Thank you, thank you. I would like to also, welcome to the new families to OCPAs. This virtual session will be, available every week from different topics. We're gonna try to bring all the, information that you're looking for. With that being said, I would like, welcome Brandy to, start with the presentation, honor your time.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Gladys. And so you guys are all so lucky that they have this Parent Academy for you. And I'm so honored to be part of it to help you learn a little bit about ParentSquare. Some of you might be familiar with it, some of you might not. So let's get started, shall we? So what we're going to talk about today, I'm going to just fill you in. If you're brand new to ParentSquare, what is this? We'll talk about how you can use it. We'll talk about how you can set your account settings so things work the way that you want. And we'll talk about the three types of communication that you'll be receiving: posts, direct messages, and alerts and notices. I am going to start on the computer just because it's bigger and easier to see. But towards the end of my demonstration, I will be showing you from my phone so you can see what it looks like there as well. If you do have any questions, please put that in the chat, and Glynis and I will try to answer your questions as much as possible throughout today's session. All right. So what exactly is ParentSquare? Well, it is a communication tool that your school administrators and teachers and coaches are going to be using to send information home to the families, you guys. You can have all of your school communications in one place. So no more having to use multiple websites and apps, digging through backpacks for flyers. Those days are over. You're going to find everything you need right in ParentSquare. We do offer translations for all communications in over 190 languages, so you can get the information that you need and everyone can get the information that they need. And it's really about two-way communication as well. It's not just about the school sending information to you, it's about you being able to reach out to your child's teachers, for example, or to find out information about a particular event that's going on. So you have that two-way communication with your teachers and staff at your school. There are different ways that you can receive information about what's happening at school. So you can get emails, you can get texts, and you can also get app notifications. So although we strongly recommend that you get the app, and I'll tell you why in just a second, but you don't have to get the app in order to receive information. So if you're like, I do not want one more app on my phone, that's fine. But understand that is going to mean that there's certain things you're not going to be able to interact with. So for example, in ParentSquare, they can send you a form to fill out. Well, that form has to be attached to your child. If you haven't logged into a ParentSquare, the app online or on your computer, on your phone, then we haven't verified that you're the right person to be connected with that student, so you can't fill out the form. So there's certain restrictions. I'll talk more about that later. So we do strongly recommend that you download the app. And if you haven't done that yet, there are the links on the screen, are the QR codes for the Android and the iOS. So I'll give you a moment to download those if you would like. They are free downloads, so you don't have to pay anything for that. And it really does make it much more convenient for you to get access to everything anywhere that you are. Most of our parents really do prefer the app, but as I mentioned, it's not required. And while we're waiting, I'd also like to share some links with you about parents getting started guides. So we have two of those, and I will put those in the chat. We have one in English and one in Spanish. If you want to copy those and paste those and save those for later, you can give that a try. Okay. You've tried to change your cell phone number in ParentSquare. It says you need to contact the school. That's a great question. And I know school's just getting going. If you need to update any of your what we call contact information, which means your email or your phone number, you do need to do that at your school. So what happens is your school has the system called Skyward that has all of that information, your child, and everything put together. They send that information to us at ParentSquare. So within ParentSquare, you can't actually change that information. You need to go to your school and let them know that your phone number's changed or that your email is changed or you want to use a different email for communication or whatever it is. And that information is updated every day. So once you make a change with the office, you should be able to get communications within 1 or 2 days, just depending on the timing of all of the machines talking to each other, but they do update pretty regularly. Okay? Awesome. All right. So when you do confirm your account or when you have the app, it asks you to confirm your information. And we want to make sure that we're reaching the right person. So for example, it will show schools that your children belong to, confirms your email address, and it also confirms which children belong to you, right? So if everything is correct, you could just mark that and then you're confirmed and everything should be good to go from there. If you do have any problems, emails that are not right, you do need to correct those at the schools so that you can get information correct in ParentSquare. All right. So when you're logging in for the first time, you just need to verify that contact information. A code will be sent via email or text, depending on how you're receiving that, however you logged in with. And if the information is incorrect or outdated, please update the information in the district portal. You need to contact the school's website or the school to make sure that those changes are made. ParentSquare gets their information from the school. Okay. It will ask you to check to make sure your students are connected to you, and you just click that yes button. Okay. See if there's any questions. Oh, some of you also, because school is just getting going, all the rosters might not be done yet at all the schools. So if you don't see the correct information yet, wait a little bit. The schools might not be done with their rostering. So please be patient. And both parents, yes, you actually have your own accounts. So if you and your spouse both want to log into ParentSquare and see what's happening, you absolutely can do that. If only one of you got an email, it might be that you don't have the information correct for both of you. Again, make sure you contact your schools to make sure that the information is flowing. So for example, you might be sharing an email account, but you have separate phone numbers so that the schools can make sure that you can get in communication. Okay. I think I've answered some of the questions I've seen coming through. Any other questions I need to cover there?
Yeah, I think were two questions about iPads. They say if I can use my iPad. I think they will be, if they use the iPad, will be the same as they see when they are using the cell phones, right? The mobile
Hmm. Hmm.
device, right?
Hmm. Yeah, they have to download the app to do it on the iPad. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Awesome. Let's see here. So I'll show you also, because you might have different schools, I'll show you in a little bit how you can actually toggle between the schools to see information. So I saw someone that said you've got 2 kids in 2 different schools, and I'll explain that later, okay, and how that works. Because yeah, you can kind of only see one school at a time. Otherwise, it'd be really confusing for you. So I'll show you how to switch between the two. All right. Okay. So again, you don't have to download the app. You don't have to register your account, but we do strongly urge you to do that. You'll get notifications regardless. in order to change your account settings or comment or fill out forms, some things like that, you do need to register. So if you're like doing something like, hey, Brandy said I could do this and it's not working, because you didn't actually confirm your accounts yet, that's why. Okay. All right. All right, I think we're ready to move on. Oh, Skyward is the system that your school district uses it's called a student information system or a school information system. It has all of the information for everybody at the school. So it has all the students, what grade they're in, what classes they're in, what teachers they have. It controls all that information. It also connects you and your children together, and information from that Skyward goes to ParentSquare, and that's how we get you all to be able to communicate. Someone asked, when my son's father sends a message to reply to a teacher, you're not able to see it. That is correct. Communications are private unless you're put together in a group conversation. Okay? All right. So let's talk about some of the communication that you're going to be getting. One thing you're going to be seeing is posts. This is what you're going to see most often. These are announcements. These can come out from the district. These can come out from the school. These can be sent to a grade level, a class, or a group. I'll explain more about classes and groups in just a second. And these contain lots of information and ways for you to communicate back. For example, you can add a comment and say, hey, I have a question about this event. You can just give it a little, appreciation like you're doing with the reactions. You can just sort of give it a thumbs up and say, thanks for sending this to me. And you can do that except for district posts. So district posts, just because of the sheer numbers of people, those comments are usually turned off, but your school and your teachers usually will be turned on. If you're not able to comment, it will tell you so. So posts are what you're going to see most often that give you the information. Today, we're also going to talk about direct messages. So these are a more private conversation. So earlier, someone asked, the teacher sent something to my spouse, or my spouse sent something to teacher and I can't see it. That's correct, because that was a private direct message. These will usually come from teachers or other school staff members like counselors. These are great for quick messages, kind of similar to a text message. They can have photos, files, or even a voice clip that you can listen to. They might be added there, so look for those. And you can send messages to teachers and staff, but you cannot directly message the principal, the school, or anyone at the district level. There are two types of conversations. There's direct message, which means in this case that, parent A just sent a message to the teacher. That's a direct message. There's also group conversation. So a staff member or a teacher can say, hey, I want to talk to both mom and dad at the same time. They can start a group conversation. And in that case, when mom writes something, everyone sees it. When dad writes something, everyone sees it. When the teacher writes someone, everyone sees it. So there's two different types of messages there: direct messages and group conversations. Okay. And then there are alerts. So alerts are one-way messages. There's no comments, there's no appreciations. These come from administrators, and it means there's something either time sensitive or something urgent happening. So there's two kinds. There's one little megaphone. This is called a smart alert. It's for something that's important that you need to know, but it's not like a critical situation. These can be received via email, text, or possibly voice. Things like just reminders of important events that are happening, deadlines that are happening, like it's the last day to buy yearbooks tomorrow, early dismissal reminders, and things like that. Then these ones with the little yield sign with the exclamation point, that means it's an urgent alert. These are reserved for the most critical and time sensitive information, like unexpected school delays, extreme weather conditions, or other safety issues. For these, you will receive notifications every way possible. They want to make sure you get the message. For example, that they do not want you to go to school because a water main burst and it's a mess, right? So they want to make sure you get it every which way possible. So you might get an email and a text and an app notification, all the ways, because it's of really important information that they need to share with you. So those you want to be on the lookout for. Okay. All right, so what we're going to do, let's see if there's any other questions I need. I see some questions about Skyward that the staff are answering there. Let's see, things about Skyward. Okay. And then we're going to go into settings and things like that. I think that'll answer some of the other questions. Okay. So I'm going to go switch over to my parent demo account over here to help show you more things. So when you do go on the computer, such a beautiful, nice big screen, you will see up here your schools. And this is answering that question before. If you have children at two different schools, you'll see this little down arrow and you can switch. So I've got someone at Enablement Academy and someone at Hope Heights Elementary School. That way you can switch between the two schools. Isn't that nice? Okay. And then over here, this is where you will see the posts. We talked about those. Those can have all the things, all the beautiful graphics, and all the fun ways for me to interact with that. If I see a post that I like, I can go ahead and appreciate that post. I can also comment on it and say something like, Will has been saving up his money for the book fair. So excited, right? I can send that comment. See, it says private. So only the person that sent this post or an administrator will be able to see this comment. It's not going out to all the other parents and everyone else that can see this post. The reply is private. Okay. So if you do have a question about an event or you just want to show more appreciation rather than just a little heart, you can certainly add a comment to these posts. And then, for example, in this case, this was sent out by Ms. Clark, and then she would be able to contact you or comment back to you or, you know, get in touch, add more information, whatever is needed. Okay. Oh, I did want to mention one other thing. Don't let my colors here throw you off. Each school gets to pick their own colors. So where mine is green, yours might be blue or pink or purple or whatever colors your school has chosen for you. So don't let those colors throw you off. Okay. So here is where we go to the messages. We'll go in here later in our session today. And here's those alerts and notices I was telling you about. These are the really important informations that have been going out. These will only stay in my feed for a certain amount of time and then they fade out because they're usually a time sensitive specific thing. They don't need to stay in there like for 6 months, right? So these are things like a power outage or, a 2 hour delays, things like that. So you can see those. And I'll show you where you can find these on the phone at the end as well. Right. You can also go to your directory. Here's where you can view your school staff if you need to find out more about them. So if I want to find out more about my son's teacher, I can just click on the teacher and I'll see their profile. You can see their picture and a little bit about them here. Okay. All right. Also down here, we have something called groups. We're not really going to go into that much today, and most of the groups probably haven't been set up yet, but this is a way for you to join clubs or special events or things like that. So if you go to this explore page, anything that's open to the public to join will be here. So if like, oh, I'm really interested in this event that's happening, or yes, I'd like to join gardening club, you just click that join button and you can join the group. Again, not going to go into that too much. We're going to stick to the basics, but just wanted to show you that in case there were any questions there. All right, going back to my home page by clicking on home up here at the top. So the post feed or the news feed section, that's where you're going to be looking the most. This is where you're going to see all of those posts as you scroll down. But as you can imagine, once the school year gets going, it's going to be harder to find things just by scrolling, right? Not a problem. You can search for posts as well. So if I want to find information about the book fair, I can just type that in. And then anything that has the word book fair in it will pop up, and then I can get the details that I need. So remember for that search window to find posts. It makes your life a whole lot easier. I mentioned earlier about groups, and the reason I mention those is because there's two kind of groupings of people within ParentSquare. There are classes. So classes are your child's second grade class or fifth grade class or first period English class or fifth period math class. Those are classes, and as I mentioned earlier, that information we get from your school and we put into ParentSquare. Groups are things above and beyond that. So groups are things like clubs, special events, maybe a PTA or PTO if you have that at your school. things like that. So there's classes that's created through the school system, and there's groups that people like your different teachers and coaches and things like that can create in order to be able to communicate to you about specific topics. You can also narrow down what you're looking at by clicking on that. So if I just want to see Miss Clark's stuff, I can just choose her name here. And now I'll just see the stuff that I received from her from that class, or that was sent to the class because I'm part of my child's in second grade. So anything sent out to second grade will be here. So everybody's feed will be personalized based on what schools you belong to or your children belong to, what clubs you're in, what classes you're enrolled in. Everyone will see a little screen. So if you like, look at your neighbor's screen. Why do you see something different than mine? It's because they're customized based on those. So here's that book fair information that went out to all of second grade. Here's to sign up for parent teacher conferences with that teacher. Here's a field trip that's coming up. And again, you can search for those by the class as well. All right. There's also a calendar, and this is really handy. So anything at the district level will go out, you'll see that. Anything school-wide, you'll see that, and you'll see any calendars that were created in those groups or classes. So again, this will also be personalized. If you want to find more information out about something that's happening, you can just click on that and then it will take you to the information. I'm going to click this view all button right here just to make it a little easier for you guys to see. So here is the larger view of the calendar. So like, oh, here's the back to school night. I click on that and now I'm going to go to that post to get all the information that I need. So the calendar makes it really convenient. I'm going to cruise through and see if I see any questions I need to answer. How do you add another child from a different school to ParentSquare? Well, first of all, they have to be using ParentSquare, and Milano's answered you there. Make sure you contact the school to get that situation under control. Um, you don't see his Renaissance Charter School. Again, please remember that not all the schools, it's possible that not all the schools have finished rostering yet. So if your school hasn't started yet, please wait till school gets going. And then if you still don't see a problem, then contact the school. We're just at the point where things are getting turned on and not everything may have been turned on yet. Okay. Okay. Yes, you need to contact your school if there's any issues. Okay. Anything else I need to answer there so far, Gladys?
No, I think we are okay, Mariel. Our director is helping with a lot of the question, but I will, capture. But we are fine.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Hi there, it's Marielle. Hi everyone. A big question that keeps popping up is how do I see, or how do I add my own child if there is no child already there? That's something the school needs to do for you and often means that you're not linked to your child in Skyward. So if you need help with an email address for your specific school, please let us know. We're happy to get you that information in the chat, okay? And this is being recorded, so we will be sending out a recording afterwards. Thank you so much.
Thank you for that context. Appreciate it. Emily, yes, I am in fact logged into my parent account on the computer and on my phone at the same time. So yes, and you can, I suggest you just leave the app open. That way you get those notifications, but I'm not always going to leave my computer on, right? Okay. So now let's talk about account settings so you can control some things on your own account. So to get to your account, way up here in the right-hand corner, whoop-a-doop, and again, I'll show you these on the phone in a little bit. I'm going to click on my name up here and I can manage account. I don't think I have any parents here that are also staff, but if I do, just like you can switch between schools, you can also switch between accounts. So, or if you both share a phone, but you have separate ParentSquare accounts, you can actually add the other account here and then switch between the two. So if I have my school account and my parent account, I can actually switch between the two of them here. But right now we're going to go in and we're going to manage this account. Okay. And you'll see the confirmation of your information. So this is a great place to check to make sure your information is correct. If it's not, that's when you need to contact your school to make sure they get that information updated correctly for you. You cannot see the page the lady is showing. Okay, let me go back. If you're able to log into your account, you should be able to click on your name in the top right-hand corner and then go to Manage Account. Now, again, if your school isn't rostered yet and your parent account might not be working yet, that's why you might be having some problems as well. You cannot find the login page. It's ParentSquare.com, and you'll see a sign in button on the top right-hand corner. Okay. All right. So we're going to show you how you can change some of the settings here. The most important thing right here is this notification settings right here on the left-hand side. So I mentioned earlier how we can send notifications different ways. Well, you can control that, okay? We want everyone to have control over how they receive their information. So let me show you how that works. So first of all, how do you want your post notifications to be delivered, and how do you want your direct messages to be delivered? So posts, if I click on this down arrow, I have some different options. I can get an email immediately. So as soon as someone posts information, I will receive it on an email. Email digest. This is a great option. What happens here is it takes any of the posts throughout the day. It sends you one notification in the evening, 6 o'clock-ish, okay, with all of the posts, and then you can go in and look at those individual posts. So if you don't want to get pinged all throughout the day, or you have a job situation where you just can't be looking at your phone all day, that digest version is really nice. Or like, I don't want to use my email to get notifications, you can turn that off as well. Okay. Then do you want app or text? So if you've downloaded the app and you mark mobile instant, it's going to give you an app notification. If you have not downloaded the app, this is going to give you a text notification, but it will not give you both. So if you have the app and you have this mark, it's going to send it to the app first. It's only going to send you a text if for some reason the app isn't working, okay? Again, do you want that instantly? Do you want that digest? I get one text notification or app notification in the day that has all of the information that was sent to me as posts, or do I want to turn my mobile off? And again, if you have different schools you belong to, you can even set that differently. Like maybe you have a kindergartner. I want to know immediately what's happening with my kindergartner, but my high schooler, I can wait till the end of the day, right? You decide. And then you also have direct messages. Now, direct messages, there's not a digest version because direct messages by their nature are more of a one-on-one communication, but you can decide how you want to receive those. So do you want your direct messages to come to you on an email? Do you want them to come to you over the app, or do you want them to come to you as a text? I don't have my phone number attached here, so text for me is not an option. So if you don't have your phone number listed on your account with your school or with ParentSquare, it means that will not be an option for you. Okay. So please update those settings. You can change them at any time. If you're like, you had it instant, like, okay, this is too much. Let me try the digest version for posts, for example. You can change those at any time. And again, to get there, we go to our name, manage account, and then come over here to notification settings. Another thing I would like you to check is language settings. So make sure this is the language you want to receive your information in. So ParentSquare translates into over 190 languages. Make sure that this is set for you. We don't have every language on the planet, but it's quite a few. We do use Google Translate, but Google Translate now has a new, better version of Google Translate. So if this is not the right language for you, you can click here and choose the language that you do want to receive that information in and just click Save. So once you do that once, it should be good to go, and you won't have to worry about it again. Okay? So please make sure you check your notification settings and your language settings if you do decide to log into the app. And again, this is another advantage of doing so. If you log in and register your account, then you can make these changes. Otherwise, you just get stuff the way the school has default set up for you. Okay. Now, I mentioned earlier about urgent alerts. Though, even if you have everything turned off, you're still going to get those urgent alerts because they are super important. So don't worry about that. Those will still come to you. All right. Any other questions that I can help with? I see some people that are having some problems with their account that people at the schools are helping with. Any other questions that I can help answer, Gladys, about the account settings?
Yeah, let me just, I think we are good with questions. Mariel having answered all of them. We are
Okay.
good.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Thank you for checking. I appreciate it. I'm trying to keep track, but it's a little hard for me to follow everything. So I really appreciate your help there. All right, yes, go ahead.
Sorry, we just a new one. They say
Oh,
if parents can work for Florida Virtual School as well.
if will parents, oh,
That was, mhm.
are you guys using that for the virtual schools? I don't know the answer to that.
I think that's more for if
Um, I
yes.
can answer that. So for Orange County Virtual School, we do have access to ParentSquare, but Florida Virtual School is its own school system and is not a part of our district communication app.
Thank you. Sometimes I don't have all the answers. All right, let's take just a little quick break here. I want to make sure you're all with me. Let's see some of those reactions, maybe some of those thumbs up. Make sure you guys are good and you're getting your questions answered. How are we doing? You can't log into the link for the browser ParentSquare either. Okay.
So Michelle, if you again, team, if we see as a parent that it says account not found or it's not letting you log in, that is a clear sign that you're not linked correctly in Skyward. So you're going to want to reach out to your child's school. So for example, Ash just mentioned that her phone number worked but not her email. So what that can mean is that in Skyward, we have a mobile phone number for you, but not an email address, or not the email address you're trying to use. You may have registered with a different one many years ago. So you do want to call and update the school because that does affect many different systems, not just ParentSquare in our district. Same thing, Michelle, with if you have a child at Windermere High School, how can you be added to Skyward? So if you're not in Skyward right now, that probably means that the email address or phone number you're using is not the email address or phone number that is on file in the district in Skyward. That doesn't mean you're not an emergency contact. It doesn't mean they don't have your right number to call in an emergency. It means that the number that's listed under Family 1 or Family 2, which is what we use for access to different systems, may not be accurate. So you just want to ask your school's registrar, okay?
Awesome.
And
Thank you.
again, Cynthia, same thing. If you have children in two different counties, it really depends on whether or not those two counties use ParentSquare, right? Every county in the state of Florida makes their own decisions. And so not every county may be using Skyward or ParentSquare. But if you have children in multiple schools within our county, then absolutely we would love to help you get connected.
And also, if you have the same information for both, you can switch schools here. Like these schools are in different districts, okay? Or you can use this feature and sign into a different account and switch it that way. So if both are using ParentSquare, there might be two different options. It just kind of depends on how things are set up. But you should be able to switch schools here or add that separate account and toggle between the two. Okay? Hope that answers your question, Cynthia. All right. So I wanted to show you a little bit about some of the different things that you might see when you are looking at posts. So for example, this post right here, it has a sign up button here. So when I look at that, this is what's called an appointment sign up. This I can just see the available times and sign up for whatever session I would like to attend. So let's say I'd rather go in the afternoon. I can go ahead and sign up. It'll bring up my student's name. If I have more than one student, I can choose. And if I want to write the teacher a note, I can do that. We'll be there after work or whatever I want to write. And now the teacher who sent this will be able to see that they're going to expect me at this time, and they're going to see that I'm coming. I'm the parent of Will Herman, and they'll see my little note there. If I change my mind and go, oh, I wrote the wrong time, you see this little trash can right here? I can use the trash can and say, yes, I want to cancel that appointment, and I can sign up for a different time. Just like that. So you have control over that. Isn't that so cool? Some other things that you might see, let me see here, trip to the art museum. One thing that's really fun is, remember how I showed you the calendar and it connected me to the post? Well, if I go to the post itself and click on this calendar event, I can actually add this to my own calendar. So if I have like Google Calendar on my phone, I can just click that button and it will go on that Google Calendar. In this case, it'll go to the Google Calendar on my computer, but those are linked to my phone anyway. It's all in one place. Or an Outlook calendar, an iCal calendar, whatever else you have. So cool. There's also things you can do. So if you looked at the bottom, it tells you things that you can work with. So it might have a form that you need to complete, or a sign up. So a sign up, here's the form. So if I need to fill out a permission slip or a media release or things like that, or maybe just a survey coming from the teacher, I can fill those out here. I can even sign electronically and turn those in. I can also purchase, no, you guys aren't using the purchase feature. Sorry, I didn't say that. You can also donate items here. So if your school's asking you to donate for the Harvest Festival, you want to bring candy or decorations, you can just sign yourself up to bring whatever you like. You might also be asked to volunteer your time, and you can do that as well. So if I love to help with the art projects, I can sign up to help during the art project time here during this field trip. So there's lots of different ways for you to interact with the different posts that are coming out. Pretty cool, right?
Yes.
All right. Oh my goodness. Let's see. There's any other. Oh, it looks like we're looking good in the questions there.
Mhm.
All right. Are there any that I missed? Are we good?
We are good.
Awesome. Thank you. So I also want to show you the messages. So remember, posts are things that are sent out to large groups of people, has the major information. Messages are probably going to be sent to me from a teacher, or a counselor, someone like that, that wants to send something to me specifically. So when I click on the messages button, I'm going to see all of the message threads I have going. So if you think about your messages on your phone, right, you click on that and you can see messages with your mom, messages with your brother, you can see all those different things. It's the same thing here. And this is really searchable, which is nice. So if I want to see the messages with Miss Clark, I can go ahead and type her name in, and then it will show me any of the message threads that were included with her. So remember, we talked about the different kinds of messages there. So this is my thread, my conversation back and forth with my child's second grade teacher. Here she actually sent me a voice clip that I can listen to. This is something I sent her back, and I can also respond with some emojis. So rather than sending a whole message, I can just give her a nice thumbs up or a heart or a smiley face as well. Okay. So I can see that. I can also look by um, topic. So if I think someone asked me to volunteer for something, I can type that word in, and anytime the word volunteer showed up in a message, that list will be here as well, so that I can then go and look to see what that conversation was, or what was going on with that. So it makes it really easy to find the messages that you need. And if you need to send a message, you can do that up here with this new message button, and you will see that direct message option. I don't think you guys have the group conversation from your end. So from here, again, I can just type in the name of the teacher if I want to do that, or I can go to this quick select list, and it's like just going to give me the list of all the teachers that my child has. Makes it a lot easier for me to find things that way. So that is another option there for you. And then you just type the message. So let's see. Will is very excited about reading now. So grateful for your help. And from here, I can add an attachment. If I want to send a picture of him reading a book to the teacher, I can do that. I can also record my voice and send that to the teacher, or like maybe record my child reading and send that to the teacher as well. And then when I send that, that then becomes part of that thread back and forth between me and that teacher. I can also, if I'm here in that thread, just reply down here. I don't have to go to new message to someone I already am talking to. But if I haven't had a conversation with that person yet, then I would need to start a new message. All right. Any questions there?
I think Marriott is helping, with the questions.
Right. So the message I was just showing you was a direct message. I I I forgot to look it up if you guys are able to do it. If you see the group conversation, that it means you're having a conversation with everyone at the same time. So if I want to talk to Miss Clark, one of his teachers, and I also want to include another teacher here, I could do that. In this particular case, for me, I don't have the option of other teachers because I just have the 1 second grade teacher. But if, for example, I need to talk, maybe that I've been working with the counselor, so I want to talk to the teacher and the counselor at the same time, or a co-teacher, I could do that here, and then everyone will see everyone's replies. Okay.
We do have that option turned
Do
on, so
you?
that's
Okay, thank you.
wonderful. Yep. One of the questions people asked is, is there a way to clear all notifications at once? And I know you guys have the new bell this year, so
Yeah,
that might be helpful to click on.
I will show that in just a minute when I get on my phone. Yep. All right. Cool. So let's go ahead and do that then. All right, let me just get rid of this and bring in my phone. Okay, that is showing you what I am seeing on my phone right now. So I'm going to go ahead into my ParentSquare app, and this is what it looks like. So you're going to see that post feed looks kind of familiar, right? So I always try to do this on the computer instead of on my phone. So I can scroll through and see those same posts. I also see the option to comment and appreciate here. So it works very similar to that center column we saw on the computer. When I look at these different things as far as being able to interact with them, so here is where I can click on it, and this is where I can see they've asked for items, they've asked for volunteers, there's a form to fill out, and I can also add this event to my device's calendar from here as well. So when I click on it, I see all of these details down here, and then I can interact with them as well, appreciate, comment, and do those interactions I was showing you before. So if I wanted to go in and look at the volunteer, I can see with this little star right here that I've already asked to be the art project helper. I can also say, you know what, I'll help during lunchtime as well. So I can go ahead and do that. Click the sign up, save button. And now I have a message here, or I have a star here and here. And then I will get also reminders when I sign up for things that says, hey, you volunteered to do this tomorrow, you volunteered to bring this tomorrow. So it will give me reminders. And also the person in charge of that event might also send me specific information. For example, the teacher doesn't need to send information on people that are chaperoning to everyone, right? So they might just message the people that have offered to be chaperones. So I might get other communications once I sign up for something, but I will get reminders that I've committed myself to something. Nothing like remember the kid telling you on Sunday night that they promised to bring something to school on Monday, and you're like, I didn't. No worries, we've got you covered there. All right. Okay, and let's go back. So from down at the bottom here, I can look at my messages and alerts, but someone just mentioned about this new icon we have up here that kind of puts everything all in one place. So if I click on that, I can now see everything. So I'm seeing information that was sent out from the school. I'm seeing information from Mona. I'm seeing information from Darcy and Clark. There's the book fair. Like everything is all here at one place that I can see very easily. And here's that magic button she was telling about. Mark all is red. I don't know about you guys, but I get crazy when I see the red dots everywhere. And I'm like, I think I've looked at everything. But if and it shows you the red dots means you haven't clicked on that yet. But if you're like, okay, I'm over this, I'm done with this, you can just click here where it says mark all is red and that little red button goes away and you're all cleared out. Okay. Really important that you know how to do that. Was that what you were getting to earlier?
Yes.
Yeah. Right. So I can also go back here and go into my messages tab. And if I want to click on my teacher's name, I can see again that message thread going back and forth. And I can just go down here to the bottom and send a new message back to that teacher. The plus button at the top is how I can do something new. So if I want to do a new direct message or group conversation. Now, in this particular case, my parent account has the ability to create posts because they're part of a group. You probably will not see that option, but just so you know. So this is where you start a new direct message, for example. You'll see the same options here. You can look at the people that you're connected to, classes you're connected to, groups you're connected to, or you can search for a name up here, just like we did on the computer. Okay, boop de boop. And if I just want to see the alerts by themselves, I can come down here to this alerts button, and this will show me things that are either kind of urgent or a more of an emergency nature. So in this case, I see that just reminder that there's an early release. Remember, the megaphone means it's a smart alert, it's just like something that's time sensitive, but not an emergency kind of situation. And then I can see there is an urgent message here. So it's marked here. It says urgent message. So if I click on that, it's going to tell me that school is closed today due to weather. So those are things you really want to make sure you pay attention to, because the admins are only going to use that when there is something really important to message you about. So make sure you check those out. Okay. And to get to your accounts, oops, let me go back. If you click up here on these three horizontal lines, some people call them a hamburger. When I click on that, this is where I can switch between schools. This is where I can look at the classes that I'm enrolled in. I can look at the groups that I'm enrolled in. And this is where I can get to my account settings right here. So I can go in and update my notifications, my preferences, do all those kinds of things there. Okay. All right. And that's what it looks like on the phone app. It looks pretty similar between the Android and the iOS. They're a little slightly different, but they look pretty much the same. Okay. All right. Are there any other questions that I need there? If anyone else has any questions, someone's asking about Student Square on the launch pad. I can't help answer that one.
Um, I think when the student have access to their computer or this, when they go to the Canvas, they can search for the ParentSquare app on the Canvas for the students.
Perfect. Perfect. All right. How are you guys feeling about ParentSquare? I think you're going to see that it's going to be able to streamline things, but still be really robust and interesting and be able to give you those ways to interact, those ways to volunteer or donate items, add to your calendar. Like, I think user friendly. I'm so glad you think so. We really tried hard to make it. I mean, there's a lot of things it can do, but we wanted to try to make it as simple to use as possible so that it was easy for you. We get it. We understand parents have a lot on their plates, so many different apps and websites and things that we want to keep track of for our children and everything. So we're trying to make this as simple as possible. Oh, I'm seeing people say that it's simple and easy to use.
Yes.
That is
And I
awesome.
think what we can, it's for those that have, esteem issues or, need more support, please contact your school because that will be a matter of maybe they need to, provide the correct phone number or the correct email address. Um, Same with, with one of the parents, they need to, just confirm that each parent on Skyward have the right information. We have the right information that way. All, is seen and they can, grant, access.
Hmm.
Just not, thank you, Randy. I
Oh,
think that was
I
very
do have
helpful.
something else I want to show them though. I want to show them where they can
Yes,
go to get more
okay,
answers.
sure.
Okay. So if you click on those three dots again, I do want to show you down here at the bottom, there's a help button. If you go to that help button, you can go to our help articles. So if you do have a question, you can use that. I'm going to switch back to my computer here just because I think it'll be a lot easier to see. Okay, so on the computer, where to find that is up here at the top where that little question mark is, and that's where you can go to get help. So if you go to the help articles, there is a whole section just for parents, guardians, and students. Okay, so we already have a curated list of things that we know that parents need to understand about ParentSquare, so you can click on that and check it out. There's also a way that you can just ask a question right here. So if you're like, someone asked me earlier, can I use the same um, login for students at different, in different districts? Maybe we'll see if our AI agent can help answer that question. Oh, it didn't really like that question. So the answer is it depends. But you can actually ask a question and sometimes it will be able to answer questions for you that way. You can also look by feature. So if you're like, I really want to learn more about a particular part of ParentSquare, you can do that as well. So please do check out those articles. Some of the articles have videos. For example, this getting started one right here, I believe has a nice video for you to watch. It will give you step-by-step instructions with screenshots so you can see exactly step-by-step how things need to happen. And again, please reach out to your schools if it's anything about like, I can't see my student, I don't see my classes, those sort of things, that has to happen at the schools. But if it's like, how do I send a direct message? How do I react to a post? Those are things that our help articles can definitely, definitely help with. Okay. All right. So,
Thank you so much. There's so many great questions still coming in. A few of them are about Skyward and not ParentSquare. So I do just want to let you guys know, and Gladys can put in the chat, that we do have an upcoming Parent Academy about Skyward Family Access that we would love for you to participate in. There are a couple questions about forms and our back to school forms on ParentSquare. They are not at this time. They are in Skyward Family Access. If you are able to access the OCPS parent portal and click on Skyward Family Access from a computer, not a mobile phone, you'll see a menu item that says online forms. Alternatively, if you are on a mobile phone, you can use the setting in your browser where it says request desktop view, and you can sign your mobile forms that way as well. So hopefully, Mr. Cabrera, that would be helpful. Karen, you also asked about how your child can get access to Skyward and ParentSquare. This is going to happen automatically at the beginning of the school year, and all high schools have their students log into Launchpad on the first day after they receive their laptop, and that's where they will be able to access Skyward, Student Square, and any other apps like Canvas that they may be able to access. Finally, Olivia, this is a great question for all parents that are still on the call. What is the difference between Skyward and ParentSquare? Here's how I like to think about it. I don't know if any of you are as old as me, but in the old days, your permanent record was like this big, huge, thick file folder, right? That like kind of followed you from school to school in that dusty old file cabinet. That file folder is what Skyward is. It is your permanent record for your child. It includes their attendance, their grades, their final grades, their report card, their assessments, any records in terms of exceptional student education, anything like that, almost like a doctor's office chart. So everything in Skyward are things that have happened in the past, right? They're basically a record of what's occurred. If you are looking at ParentSquare is almost the equivalent. I think this is how I would phrase it, and Gladys and our friends from ParentSquare tell me if you agree. I think about it more like a really robust version of like a Facebook for parents. So it's a place where you can communicate, get updates, network. It's a communication app. It's not a permanent record. That's not how we use it, okay? And then if you have a middle school or high school student, you may be wondering, well, how does any of that have to do with Canvas? Well, Canvas is a learning management system. It's the same learning management system used by every public university in the state of Florida. And that's where online courses are held, where students turn in assignments and daily work. And Canvas talks back and forth with Skywards to send grades back and forth. And so it all works together in one system. And that's why we recommend that parents register for the OCPS parent portal, because that portal is like a dashboard that connects you to all of the different things that parents need to know within OCPS, whether that's Skyward Family Access or ParentSquare or Canvas Parent or School Cash Online. You can get to it kind of all in one place. On a laptop, that makes a lot of sense to people because they just go to that portal and it logs you in, right? But on a mobile phone, it can be a little confusing because each one has a different application. So I understand that, but I just wanted to take the time to explain that so that you can kind of understand how the whole system works together. Okay. Kim, your question is, how do I know if my child finishes his homework and his grades from ParentSquare? The short answer is you don't, because on ParentSquare, the only way you would know that is if the teacher was sending you a message that said, hey, your child's missing homework or your something didn't happen. If you want to know if your child has missed an assignment, that is going to be something that's recorded in Skyward, because that's the permanent grade book. Okay.
I think you did a great job explaining that. That was awesome. I love it.
Okay, perfect. If there are any other last minute questions, I'm certainly happy to stay on for a few moments, but I do want to honor everybody's time. I know it's such a busy week as we're getting ready for back to school. I have 4 kiddos myself, and so I really do understand, including a 4th grader. So if you don't have any other questions, parents, then I'm going to turn it over to Gladys to kind of close us out with any last announcements, and then we will certainly stay on to answer any additional questions that you have. Gladys,
Yeah.
take it away.
Yes, I want to say thank you to Brandy, Marielle, for being so, helpful and answer all these questions. And I extend two invitation. One for August 15th, Saturday, we will be at Howard Middle School. And like Marielle mentioned, we're going to have a session about Skyward and the parent portal. That will be, also answer a lot of the question and concern, or, help you to troubleshoot some of those issues that you have. And tomorrow in our in the OCPS Facebook page, we will have the Launch and Learn for this year. We're gonna have the food and nutrition services, accounts pay, and student enrollment. To answer all those questions that parents and new families in OCPS have about this different system, different, all the information the parents need to know to start, a great school year. If you go to the Facebook account and follow OCPS, and tomorrow at 12 p.m., we're going to have that session with our director, Maria Milano, and we hope, everybody is able to join and have that information. And thank you for joining us, support your student during this school 26-27. Thank you, everybody.
Gladys, is it possible for you to put the link to register for the Skyward Family Access session in the chat?
I drop off the link for registration for August 15. Yes. And I will, support. Let me drop off the link. Thank you.
Great. If there's a virtual mini academy for Skyward, please place that there as well. Thank you.
You're welcome.